Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty common, something many of us enjoy: cheese. But, as we get older, maybe we need to think a bit differently about it.
That's absolutely right. It's a key question. Our bodies change, our nutritional needs shift, and yeah, even cheese plays a role.
Sure.
Some types can be real allies, good for the brain, bones, gut health.
Right.
But others, they might be quietly working against us, maybe contributing to high blood pressure or a weaker immune system.
Exactly. So our mission today is to sort this out. Which cheeses are helpful as we age, and which ones should we maybe, avoid? We've looked at recent stuff from the European Journal of Nutrition and also some great advice from the Wise Advice YouTube channel.
Good sources.
Okay, let's jump in. Where do we start?
Well, let's begin with something a lot of people find, super convenient.
Yeah.
Processed cheese spreads.
Oh, yeah.
Soft, creamy ones. In tubs, jars, those little triangles sometimes. Often feels like a bit of nostalgia, maybe from childhood snacks.
Totally. On toast crackers, I remember those. But I guess you're saying they might not be so great for us now, especially over 60. What's the deal?
Well, yeah. What looks simple and comforting, it can actually be a bit of a nutritional challenge for aging bodies. See, they're not really cheese in the old-fashioned sense.
Okay.
They're more like industrial creations, often made from, let's say, lower-grade cheese leftovers, mixed with chemical emulsifiers, artificial colors, preservatives, and usually lots of sodium and unhealthy saturated fats.
Wow, okay. That sounds less good. And why is that specifically a problem as we age?
Right. So as we get older, our bodies just aren't quite as efficient. Our kidneys, for example, they don't filter waste as well as they used to. Our arteries lose a bit of their flex, metabolism slows down.
Makes sense.
So these additives, they can become more problematic. Take sodium phosphate. It's often in there for texture, but it puts extra stress on the kidneys. The National Kidney Foundation has actually flagged this. Basically, limiting this processed stuff is good for your kidneys long term.
That's really important. And it's not just the additives. You mentioned fats, too.
Exactly. These spreads are often high in saturated fats, sometimes even trans fats, which are really not good. These fats push up your bad cholesterol, the LDL, and can lower the good HDL.
Okay.
Plus, they contribute to systemic inflammation. That's like a low-level chronic inflammation all over the body, linked to lots of age-related issues. Heart disease risk goes up, stroke risk too. And what's interesting, it can even affect your thinking, your joints, your circulation, all crucial things as we age, and it's coming from this seemingly simple food.
So it's not like you eat it and feel bad immediately. It's more of a slow burn, kind of hidden.
Precisely. The damage often just creeps up. Maybe your blood pressure goes up slowly, or you feel tired all the time. Maybe memory isn't quite as sharp, or it shows up in blood tests, higher creatinine, high triglycerides.
Right.
It's like trading long-term vitality for that quick convenience and familiar taste. You could almost think of it like a Trojan horse.
Okay.
It looks okay. It's designed for shelf life, but maybe not your life.
Okay. That paints a very different picture of those spreads. Let's switch gears. What about something that feels a bit fancier, like blue cheese? You see it on cheese boards all the time. Are there hidden issues there for older adults?
Yeah, blue cheese. It has that strong flavor, looks elegant, but it does have a potential downside, especially after 60. The mold, the penicillium that gives it the blue veins, it produces compounds called tyramine and histamine.
Tyramine and histamine, okay. And why is that an issue?
Well, when we're younger, our bodies usually break these down pretty easily, but as we age, that process can slow down.
And if they build up, what happens then?
They can cause some pretty unpleasant effects: sudden jumps in blood pressure, heart palpitations, maybe really bad migraines or dizziness. Sometimes it's serious enough people end up in the ER.
Wow.
Another thing with blue cheese, it's often aged, sometimes made with raw, unpasteurized milk. That increases the risk of listeria contamination.
Listeria. That's definitely a worry, especially if your immune system isn't as strong as it used to be.
Absolutely. A listeria infection can start subtly. Maybe a low fever, feeling tired, upset stomach. But in someone more vulnerable, it can get serious fast, leading to sepsis or meningitis.
Scary stuff.
And don't forget the sodium. Blue cheese can be quite high, sometimes over 400 milligrams an ounce. Not great for blood pressure. Plus, the creamier kinds are often high in saturated fat, which again, isn't good for arteries or stroke risk.
So that elegant look and taste might come with some pretty significant baggage for older folks. The cost could be higher than we think.
Exactly. Unstable blood pressure, infection risk, inflammation. They're real possibilities. It might seem like a small treat, but the impact on an aging system can be quite big.
Okay, noted. Blue cheese goes on the caution list. Now, what about something that seems totally harmless, like cream cheese, bagels, cooking? It's everywhere. Is there a downside there?
Cream cheese, yeah, it feels so familiar and mild, doesn't it? But for people over 60, it's kind of um, deceptively rich and actually quite low in real nutrition. Gives you very little protein, which we really need to keep muscle mass as we age.
Right, protein is key.
But it is high in saturated fat. And with a slower metabolism, that's a concern. That excess fat can contribute to visceral fat, the belly fat that's linked to insulin resistance, heart disease, more inflammation.
And I bet the flavored ones are even trickier, the ones with fruit or herbs
Ah,
mixed in.
definitely. Those often have added sugars. That spikes your insulin, messes with blood sugar balance, and just feeds inflammation. It can make you feel tired, foggy, harder to manage weight.
Hmm.
Really, at this stage of life, you want every calorie to count, nutritionally speaking. Cream cheese is often dense in calories, but pretty poor in nutrients. It's kind of a missed opportunity for something more healing.
And is there a listeria risk with cream cheese too, like some of the blues?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Because it's soft and has high moisture, bacteria can potentially grow, especially if it's left out. Again, seniors are more susceptible. Listeria symptoms can be subtle, like a nagging headache or just feeling a bit off, maybe slightly confused. Easy to miss the connection.
So that seemingly innocent schmear could actually be working against your energy, your health, your longevity.
It really could. It's one of those quiet underminers.
Okay, so we've covered some of the potential problem areas. Let's shift to the good news. Our sources also pointed to cheeses that can actually be beneficial. Let's start with goat cheese. You called it a gentle superfood.
Yes, goat cheese is a really great option. Unlike those processed ones, it's usually made more naturally. And a huge plus for seniors. It's often much easier to digest.
How so?
It has less lactose than cow's milk cheese. And the protein, the casein, is a slightly different type, so it tends to be gentler on the stomach. Big help if you've noticed bloating or sensitivities creeping in.
That's fantastic news for a lot of people, I bet. What else makes it good?
Well, its fat structure is interesting too. It's mostly short and medium-chain fatty acids. Your body tends to use these for energy more readily instead of just storing them as fat. That's helpful when metabolism is slower. Plus, it's a good source of nutrients like zinc and selenium, which support your immune system, and often, especially artisanal goat cheeses, contain probiotics. Those are great for your gut health, replenishing the good bacteria, fighting inflammation, maybe even helping with mood. So goat cheese, think digestible, nutrient-packed, supports gut, brain, and immunity as you age.
So it's not just about avoiding bad stuff, it actively provides good stuff. You mentioned brain benefits too.
That's right. It has vitamin A and some omega-3s, both linked to supporting memory and cognitive function. Might offer a bit of protection against age-related decline, and crucially, you get this without artificial colors, stabilizers, or preservatives. Just clean, natural nourishment. Plus, it's so versatile.
Sounds like a winner. Simple, but powerful. Okay, what about Swiss cheese? It's often seen as pretty mild. Why is it a subtle shield?
Swiss cheese, yeah, I got those holes, and sometimes it gets overlooked. But for seniors, it has some really remarkable quiet benefits. One of the biggest, it's naturally low in sodium, usually around 54 milligrams an ounce.
Wow, that's low. That's huge for blood pressure management.
It really is a major plus. So you can enjoy cheese without that big sodium hit. But there's more. Swiss cheese is also rich in vitamin K2.
K2, what does that do?
K2 is fascinating. It helps direct calcium into your bones, where you need it, and helps keep it out of your arteries. Preventing calcium buildup in arteries is important for heart health, reducing risks of hardening and stroke.
So it helps calcium go to the right place. That's clever.
Exactly. And Swiss is also a good all-arounder, provides calcium itself, plus protein for muscles, and vitamin B12 for nerve function and clear thinking. And, like some other aged cheeses, the aging process breaks down a lot of the lactose, making it easier to digest.
And I think I read something about anti-inflammatory properties too.
Yes, you did. The specific bacteria used to make traditional Swiss cheese, one is called Propionibacterium freudenreichi. These cultures produce unique compounds during fermentation that seem to have anti-inflammatory effects. It might offer some gentle support against things like arthritis or even neurodegeneration. It's just quietly supporting your body without any gimmicks.
A quiet guardian for the heart and mind. I like that.
Okay.
Okay, one more solution. Feta cheese. Tangy, crumbly. What makes it a source of lasting strength?
Feta. Yeah, it's got that distinct tang. It might seem simple, but it packs a nutritional punch for seniors. Traditionally, it's made from sheep's or goat's milk.
Like the goat cheese, so maybe easier to digest.
Exactly. Less lactose, different protein structure again, so it's often kinder on sensitive guts. Better comfort, maybe better nutrient absorption.
Good. And what about the nutrients themselves?
It's a solid source of calcium for bones, protein for muscles, and that important vitamin B12 for nerves and energy, all key areas as we age. But maybe the coolest thing about feta is its gut health benefit.
Oh, how so?
Because it's brined and fermented, it's naturally full of probiotics, those good bacteria we keep talking about. They help keep your gut microbiome balanced. And a balanced gut is linked to everything from digestion and immunity to mood and controlling inflammation.
That's fantastic. Now, feta tastes salty. Is the sodium a concern?
It definitely has a salty flavor from the brine, but you usually use smaller amounts of feta because the flavor is strong, so you get the benefits without a huge sodium load. And here's a tip. If you're really watching sodium, you can actually give feta a quick rinse under cold water before using it. That washes off some of the surface salt.
Great tip. So it shows that nutritious food doesn't have to be bland or complicated, just intentional, kind to the body.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've looked at the potential downsides of things like processed spreads, blue cheese, cream cheese, and the real upsides of bringing in more goat cheese, Swiss, and feta. It really highlights how much our food choices matter, maybe even more so as we get older. It's like every meal is,
Yeah.
well, it's either helping or potentially hindering.
It truly is. And realizing that gives you power, the power of informed choice. Choosing simple, clean, nourishing foods, that's an active investment in your own health, your vitality. Saying no to some of those less helpful cheeses isn't about missing out. It's really an act of self-respect, looking after yourself for the long haul.
Yeah.
And choosing supportive cheeses like goat, Swiss, feta that can help keep you sharp, keep you mobile, keep you connected.
And it's not just about us, is it? Our health impacts the people who care about us, who rely on us.
Absolutely. Staying healthy and vital is a gift to everyone around you, too. And look, it is never too late to make changes. Swapping that processed spread for some tasty goat cheese or choosing feta on your salad instead of a sugary, creamy dressing, those are real powerful steps.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, we want our food to fuel us, yes, but also to be a source of strength, support memory, clarity, help us age with, well, grace and energy.
That's a really positive way to look at it. So, wrapping up, it's clear that cheese choices really do matter in our later years. Picking the right ones can be a delicious way to support health and vitality.
Indeed. So we really encourage you, just take a moment, think about what we've discussed today. Is there maybe one small change you could make? Perhaps trying some goat cheese or being more mindful of how often you reach for that cream cheese?
Yeah, maybe exploring Swiss for its low sodium or adding some feta to a salad. Even small, consistent changes can add up to a big positive difference on your journey of aging well.
Absolutely.
So here's to making those smart choices and embracing a future with strength, clarity, and yes, grace. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.